Welcome back, everybody. Season 2, Episode 3. Your host, Ray Congreo, and of course, I'm Bryson Capellini. Topic today is boundaries. This one right here, oh, yeah, I'm going to have some stuff to say. But as we always do, welcome. How you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing well. I'm
Good.
doing well. And I mean, I was excited about this topic because boundaries is something that we all need to do at some point. We all need to set up some levels on boundaries, and there's reasons for it. And I'm sure we're going to discuss it in the time we have for this platform. So let's get right into it, Rain.
Let's go. You
So,
start.
me start.
You
Wow.
start. Yeah, you start.
So here's the thing: you have to have boundaries in the workplace. You got to have boundaries in your real life, and you definitely got to have boundaries in SL.
Mhm.
Why? Because people will drain you if you don't create boundaries. You
Mhm.
don't you look at yourself as a battery. You got a brand new battery. Beginning of the day, first day, you wake up, you fresh, you got your energy, and you go throughout the day. Think about how much interaction you have with people. If it's a boss, if it's a coworker, if it's somebody on SL, let's just put it more, let's drop it down to just SL. You come online, you ain't even signed on. Ting, ting, all these messages about clubs and people in your box and your tier is due. Wait, that's my life. I'm sorry. But I'm just saying, you guys understand what I'm talking about, right? So, with all that going on, you haven't even rest in all the way and you already have been hit with a gang of different things. Now you TP here, you TP there, and you know how SL is. 5 minutes to you could be 20 minutes in real time because the way SL is. I mean, while you're playing the game or as you're going throughout the world of Second Life, the virtual world, time moves fast. It doesn't stop just because you're, at the club
Mhm.
or building or working on a project. Maybe you're a scripter and you're working on this, got to get this code in right for something to really work the way I want it to. But then you got people in your box. And then you got people that's constantly coming around. And if you don't have boundaries, they will drain you to the point to when the time you get off SL, you may have came in with a certain attitude, just like you would at work. You come in fresh for the day, and by middle of the day, you cannot wait to get home. Just
Mhm.
clock out and go home because all this other excess stuff and Lord forbid there's some type of drama that's also going on. And they bring it to you, even if you're not even involved, had nothing to do with it, but they bring it to you, which then again, without boundaries, and I'm not saying you got to be rude, but it's like, hey, okay, I'm working on this. You might have to set boundaries for yourself to just recharge. You ever thought of that? So a point where you might be like, you know what, it's too much. I can feel my energy is going, and I need to recharge.
Mhm.
I need to get away. Some people get in a car and just drive at lunchtime, or they get in a car to get out of the office just to, or they go somewhere to put themselves in a certain state to kind of clear their mind and recharge.
Mhm.
I mean, but you got to set boundaries, not for them, but for yourself,
Mhm.
because eventually those without that stress, that tension, that stuff can then affect you. It can affect you in SL because yeah, it's quick to say, oh, we're Abby's. It's just an avatar, it's just a cartoon person. Yeah, and it's a person behind there too.
Mhm.
And they know what they're doing.
Mhm.
They know what they're doing to you.
Mhm.
And if you allow them to do it, then you are allowing them to control your being on the game,
Mhm.
control what your experience is going to be. And I'm
Mhm.
sure that's not what it was meant to be. So that's what I'm thinking on boundaries. What about you?
Hmm. So I look at definition and I say, what is a boundary? So the definition is a boundary is an imaginary line that separates me from you. It separates your physical space, your feelings, your needs, and responsibilities from others. Your boundaries also tell people how they can treat you, what's acceptable and what isn't. Um, And some of us don't have boundaries, whether it's real life, second life. Um, you know, we just allow things to happen because we don't want to disrupt what we have going on. And I must preface this before I even get started in this. This is kind of a renewal of rain and a reintroduction, I must say, of rain because I've allowed things to come into second life. And here's the funny thing, the things that I allow in second life, I would never allow in my real life. Like I have boundaries even with my kids in real life. And so when it comes to men, friends, whatever that is, people know, don't call me after 8 o'clock. It's just one of those things that I've set boundaries. And so, I've kind of made a happy life. But what I've done is I said, okay, but because I'm in second life, I just, I want to have something different. I want to have a good time and I want to have this and that and the other. But what I ended up finding out, it was at the expense of me. Okay. And really not saying how something affected me, how something hurt me. Um, and if somebody else said it about me, then they were ostracized, So I look at it and I'll tell you, I saw a quote the other day that says, people think that I'm supposed to be okay with something that they would never be okay with. That's their boundary, right? So they've set their boundary, but my boundary is different.
Right.
Um, and so what I had to really kind of look at is that's absolutely true. So, Rain, what are you going to do? How are you going to set your boundary? And so, um, you know, I, this is season 2, and I think I've kind of worked through it. So I'm gonna talk to our audience because I think it's something that's prevalent. Not only have I seen it in my own family, I've seen it in other families. Okay, where you may have dated someone and it moved to real life. Okay, so I'm just going to use you and I. Okay,
Okay.
so you and I are dating in real life, and we've dated here, and we have about a 3-year stint, and we're living together in real life. For some ungodly reason, we break apart. We go our separate ways. I mean, we're still friendly. We're not friends, but we're still friendly. And the only reason we're still friendly is because we shared a commonality within Second Life. Okay, and so that commonality accepted that person back in when you've actually been there the whole time. And then you have somebody in, or I have somebody in my family because we've broken apart. I have somebody in my family that decides that because they can't get back with you, then you're going to go after my sister.
Whoa.
Okay. And this is my sister in second life. So it's not like we're blood relation,
Right.
but you go after my second life sister, and I'm supposed to be okay with that. Okay.
Right.
And, my other sisters are like, well, you need to get over that. You need to be over that. That was several years ago, you know. Um, but for me, I'm sorry, there's a sisterly code. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
That's
And
true.
so I think what people don't understand, and you hit on it, is that there are real people behind these abbeys. So when you're dealing with real people, you're dealing with real feelings. You are not just some game. Now, there are some people that take this as a game. And if they take it as a game, and this is why I tell people Second Life's not a game, because a game, there's a winner and there's a loser. There's nothing like that in Second Life. This is life. This is the game of life. This is the second life game of life. Okay,
Right.
so you've got real emotion. You've got real love. Some of these people we have known for years. You and I have been on here for at least 16 years. Okay,
Yes. Yep.
so some of these people we've known for years, and sometimes I can say they're more family than my own blood.
True.
Okay.
That's true.
So when somebody can come and disrupt your family and say, "Well, I'm just gonna date Bryson. I don't care," because they're going only after what they're feeling, not giving a damn about you and the family that you've created. But here's even the bigger thing. The other family didn't give a darn about what was happening. They only got mad at one person that decided to stick up for me because Bryce and you were dating my sister, and they called him out.
Right.
So now it's more of, well, that wasn't my story. That wasn't my story to tell somebody, or that other person's story to tell somebody. And so it's like, what is the boundary there? And I didn't set the boundary. Unfortunately, in this instance, I did not set the boundary because I thought that because of how I got to know this person and how this person came into my family, right, as a sister, I was asked for this person to be my sister. I said, okay, because I believed in the other person. But now when I look around and I see the people that are around, I look at the 5 people that I'm around in the system, and I'm like, I start questioning because all of them are the same. So if all of you guys are believing the same, that my hurt is okay because you're still going to love everybody. And instead of you realizing that it's wrong, and people can say what they want to, but right is right and wrong is wrong. And we know the difference. Okay.
True. That's true.
So when you start getting involved and you're starting to say, oh, well, I don't want to get involved with that because I'm friends with both of you, that's when I have to set a boundary. Okay. Because
Agree.
I'm like, you brought that person into my life. Now you're trying to say that my feelings don't matter, that I should just move on and get over with it because I'm not talking to that person. Even though my sister lied to me and said, oh no, girl, we just doing this. We just in SL. We just doing this. We just playing this. You forgive that person. And then what they do is they cut your card because then they're going to go be with who they want to be and start spreading all of this other stuff. You know, you
Hmm.
you go and you start talking about me saying I did you wrong, and the reason that you did this is because I did you wrong, when we both know the reason that you did it was to get back at me. Okay, so because of that, people have to really, 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 to me, again, and I talk about this again, you need to vet people that are going to be in your family. Because if I see a person and I see what their habits are in Second Life, I know that their habits are the same in real life. Does that work within my life? Does that work within my conviction? If that doesn't work within my conviction, then yes, it's time for me to separate. I need to separate from that. And I need to separate from everything that is around that. Because if that's what you're thinking is okay, that's not my conviction. So now it's time for me to set that boundary and say, I don't, I may love you, okay? And I've done it to my real life, even real life family. I love you. I just can't be around you because we don't relate the same. And that's okay. That just means I need to find people that are for me because you're against me, if that makes sense. So
Yeah, that makes sense. Definitely does.
yeah, so when you're looking in Second Life, again, vet the people that you're dating, vet the people that you're friends with, vet the people that come into your circle, because my circle is very small now, and I did that on purpose. Okay. I've kept the friends that are for me because, again, you want people that are going to be on your side, even though they're going to, behind the scenes, they're going to tell you, hey, you were wrong, you were this, you were that, but they're going to be on your side no matter what. Okay.
True.
So you need those people that are going to push you up. You need those friends that are going to stand up and say right from wrong. Just like I'm a friend that says right from wrong. All right. That's a type of friend I want, because that type of friend, here's the thing. I want to know that I've got a representative that if I'm not there is going to speak up for me, if that makes sense. If you don't have that representative, then those are not your friends,
That's true. That
because
is
you're not
very
there.
true.
So you're not there to defend yourself. So you need to walk away. You need to let that go. You need to leave those people alone. And I know that when this comes out, some people, I mean, we're in season 2, so I know this is going to be months down the road, but I've literally started to separate myself. And now they'll understand. If they listen to this, they're going to understand. I've kind of pulled away, and I'm making my own family now. And it feels amazing. It really does. I'm glad at what I'm accomplishing because I don't have any more drama in my life. I've actually become more creative. You've got me in my zone of creating again, and
Right.
making things work. And so by taking those people out of my life, I'm not being sucked anymore. And it feels good. I do have to say that it feels good. So I think what people really need to understand out of this whole thing is some things, how to set healthy boundaries. And I've got a couple of things, and I want to read them to you. And so setting healthy boundaries is identify how you want to interact and what is okay and what is not okay for you. And that was a big one for me because I was too busy saying, oh, it's okay, knowing good and well it's not okay. And women, I will tell you, we do this to our own selves, to our own detriment.
Hmm.
Okay. Number two, identify what you need and put your needs first. Because guess what I learned? They put their needs first, not me. They put their
Very
needs
true.
first. So now it's time for me to put my needs first. Okay. Number three, value your time and ask others to do the same. Don't waste my time. Can't get time back. That's the one thing in life you'll never be able to get back is your time. Okay. Take a direct and kind approach to communicate your boundary. I don't have to be mean. I don't have to be nasty, but I know how I have to say it. Set realistic expectations for relationships and accept them as they are. And that's a mind blowing thing because I had to understand and accept people for who they are. Because you and I actually talked about this, and we talked about Maya Angelou. When people, I think, I told you, I said, when people tell you who they are, believe them. And you came back and said, well, no, Rain, is when people show you who they are, believe them. I'm like, nope. I said it's both because if somebody's telling you, "Oh, I'm this, and I'm that," and then when it happens, you're surprised. Well, if you look back, they told you exactly who they were. You just chose not to listen because you didn't want to believe it. Now you're all hurt and you're in your feelings, but they told you. And that's what happened to me. They told me they were. They showed me who they were. And yet I still let them in. And then only to turn around and do it to me. Okay. Avoid engaging in family gossip and focus on positive relationships. And so, what has happened through this whole thing is people have their own gossiping. Oh, well, this person did this, or this person said this, or this person was in the group and did this, and trying to do all of this commotion. Well, guess what? I negated that because I'm like, I'm done. You guys can talk about what you want. You can leave the group. You can leave the friendship. You can leave whatever. I don't really care. That's on you,
Right.
but it's time for me to do me, and it's time for me to be happy with me because you're going to get rain in SL. That is the rain in real life. And I've been very nice in SL. That's not who I am in real life. I don't put up with a lot of stuff in real life because I don't have the time to do that. I make time to be an SL. And so if I'm going to make time to be an SL, I want it to be a good place. And so now I'm saying it's time for me to let go. And we talked about it in other episodes where we talked about the pain of
Right.
letting go.
Right.
Yes, is it painful? Absolutely. But I know that it's going to be best for me. Okay. Know your triggers and control your response is another one. I know what my triggers are and I know that they've been pushed, and I've come back and I'll tell people it's fine. You want to be friends with that person? You go right ahead. But that doesn't mean you're going to see me all the time because eventually I'm going to start to disassociate myself with you because you decided that you wanted to be friends with a person who you knew did wrong. It just doesn't meet my conviction. And maybe for somebody else, that would be their conviction and they're fine and they're good with that. But if it doesn't meet me, right now, again, we're talking about my needs and my wants. And the last one that I have is listen and respond respectively. Those are how you set those boundaries.
All
And
right.
so I've kind of learned that, and so I hope that people that are going through the same thing actually got something out of this today.
I'm sure they did. I mean, I think that there's a lot of different things that we can do um, today. I mean, as of now. to set up boundaries which will help us in the long run, right?
Right.
So once again, as always, glad to have you here, Rain. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Thank you for the large support, all the feedback, the questions that's come in, the topics that been wanting to be covered or wanting us to discuss. Continue to send them. Continue to sign into our YouTube channel and subscribe to that, so that way you know when a new episode is dropping. Until next time, Rain, thank you for being here.
Thank you.
All right. And thank you everyone for tuning in. This is Paint Sipping Relationships Season 2. See you next time.